So managing forms in React and Next.js could be very complicated, especially when you have multiple forms in different components. And your intention might be to merge the values, in these forms and send them straight to the backend without using prop drilling, React context, or multiple use states. So we are going to talk about how to implement React Hook Form into our project to solve this problem. So React Hook Form is actually a very popular NPM package with about 5.8 million weekly downloads. It's also properly maintained by its team, and it has support for, the most popular schema validation packages like your ZOD and all the rest. So we'll start with, copying this code here and pasting into our VS Code to install it. So I think I already have it installed here, but you can run this code to install the package into your project. We are also going to be needing two more packages for schema validation. That is the Zod schema validation and Zod resolver for, React Hook Form. So I'm going to do npm Zod and Hook Form stroke resolvers. So this is going to take quite a few minutes to install, and now we have both packages installed. So before we start with the coding, I would like to walk us through our code. So we have the personal info, form. We also have the work info form and the banking info form. These three components are rendered inside the form component. So we have the form right here on the page, and it's divided into three sections. So we have the personal information, the work, and the banking information. So these are the components. You don't even need to wrap them inside a form component. You just need to render them inside the central form component we have here. Then we have one submit button. So I'm going to start by importing the form hook and also the form provider. Use form hook. From your React Hook form, you're also going to be importing the form provider. So the form provider actually provides the context. So this form provider would be rendered here. And we are going to wrap it around this form. Now, it's going to require, some methods which we are going to get from the use form hook. So we are going to execute the use form hook right here. And then we have to extract and destructure all the methods inside the form provider. Now let's look at our form very well to know all the fields we need. So we have the full name, the bio data, and the position, department, start dates. This is going to be of type, dates, or we can use string. Then this is the bank name, the account number, and the routing number. So we have to create a type using the Zod, schema package. So we have to import Zod from Zod. We also have to import the Zod resolver from Hook Forms. So we have to define a a schema for our employee data form. So first thing we need here is the full name. So the full name is going to be a string. Minimum length would be three characters. And this is the message that that the user is going to get if they input anything less than 3 characters. So second one is actually the biodata. So this could actually be optional. Okay, so we can do string dot optional. Then the work information, we have the position, and department. So department could be of type strings. We have the start date. I can do update, or I'll prefer string. I can convert it to date. Then we also have the banking information like the bank name, account number, and routing number. Now we have the schema. So I'm going to add schema to this. And we need to, use the Zod resolver to resolve this. So I'm going to add this to our use form hook. So we are going to make use of this. And now we are going to pass the schema to the Zod resolver. Okay, I think we are good to go. So one last thing is to create a function that submits our form. So I'm going to call it onSubmit. Now this function is going to be passed to our form handle submit, attribute, our onSubmit attribute rather. Then the onSubmit attribute is going to have this method from the form. So the form actually has a method called handle submit. So this handle submit takes in a function, a callback function. So this callback function would submit the data from the form. So the type of this data is field values. So I could just do data here and pass it. And I'll pass the function to the handle submit function. Then the field value is actually, a data type from React hook form. And I think we are good to go. So anytime we submit a function, the function is actually going to be executed after, the validation has taken place. And then we have our data right here. All right, so let's go to the personal information component and, import some things that we are going to need. So we need to import the use form context. So use form context from React hook form. So this actually bears the full name and the biodata. So we can do from context. Then inside here, we can just input the from context register method into the input field. So now we can input the name of this particular data field. So this is the full name. And also this is the bio data. So we have to pass in the register method from the from context into this test area. So this is going to be the bio data. Now this means that all our inputs from the browser is going to be captured by the React form, hook form. Okay, so we also have to do the same thing in the work info. Then finally, we have to do the same thing in our banking info. Okay, now that we are done, let's spin up the server and see if this is working. Okay, so it happens that we have some errors here, and I think the problem is because some of these components are not client components. So we need to start by importing use client at the top of our page here, and the same goes for all the other components that has hooks important in them. And this, my bad. Okay, so let's refresh the page. Okay, hopefully it's working now. Okay, so let's test our form. It happens that we are able to grab the different data from the input forms in different components, but then the department field is empty. Okay, so we need to find out why this is empty, because it's actually a drop down, so it's not like an input field. So maybe there is an error somewhere. So first we have to go back to our department, that is the work information section, and we need to check. So currently what we have here is a select. Okay, so I should have passed this to the select and not the select trigger. All right, so let's rerun this code and see how it goes. Now that we have it, we can submit and see what we are getting. All right, so it seems that we have an error somewhere, but we cannot see this error because we are not running the errors. So to display the errors on the page, we have to go to the components that have these forms. Then also we need to render the form error right under each field if the error is existing. So first we have to check if there's any error. So we need to form context dot form states dot errors. So we need to check if there's any error in the bank name, and if there is, we want to render the message right under this field. So it says type field error is not assignable to type React node. So we need to render this as a string. Then we could give it a class of test red. Okay, so let's do same for other fields. This is the account number. All right, so we need to do same for the personal info component and also the work info component. Okay, so one more thing we need to do is to modify the schema for the employee data. So we need to add the non-empty method to each of these fields, so that it's not going to allow the submission of empty strings. So let's go with the position. Okay, with the full name. Okay, now since we have the full schema, and all the validation, let's go back to the browser and test it. So this is the full browser, and we have to start by submitting an empty form. Let's see. All right, so first off, it says this data are needed, so we need to fill in the full name, which is this is optional, so I can just do full stack developer. This is, I can use engineering, marketing. Then let me try to submit again. All right, so it says we need to fill in these 4 fields. So notice how it won't let you submit until you filled in all the forms, and it is still gonna be showing you the fields where you need to fill in. So this is very, very important, because the React hook form manages this for you. You don't have to be micromanaging every field one by one. So I can just do chess bank and number, and let's check the console. So I'm going to delete the routing number, and let's try to submit. You see, it doesn't log the console. It doesn't log to the console because the submit function is not being executed at this point. But when I fill in this field and the validation is done, then it submits to the console. So this is why React hook form makes this very, very simple. And I think this is the end of this video, and you guys are free to subscribe to my channel, share this video, like, and also the link to this code is in the the video description below. So thank you guys for watching once more, and see you in the next video.